sides because you could see the migration patterns of before when we was all going to Florida. We showed that it looked like an upside down well with the water spout being Florida. Remember that? Okay, now after that, you got to look at the migration pattern before you can ever comprehend the Trail of Tears. Right? So the Trail of Tears, Andrew Jackson and his compadres, as I say, they clicked up and they say, hey, these chiefs of this land and the European nobility over here trying to take the land from them are both going through a Kali Yuga. They don't know who they are. So they had this bright ass idea that since we didn't know who we were, that they would step in and just take over from the good side and the bad side. This is how we got blindsided. So we already knew that they were supposed to punish us harshly. That was karmic debt. So we know they're supposed to punish us harshly, and they're supposed to treat the chiefs of the land the same way that they treat the Tudors clan, the conquerors that was coming over here to conquer. They want to disassociate the native over here from the land. In military conquest, you got what they call forfeiture rights or surrender rights. The only way you can forfeit is when it comes time for you to reclaim what's yours, you don't do it. Well, somebody got to claim it. Well, we got that mark covered. So we didn't surrender. On July the 6th, we had 72 hours from July the 4th, 2019 to put in the public domain that we was exercising the blood and the right. It only take one of us. It didn't take all of us to exercise the blood right to the inheritance of the land. Right? And the chief that's competent have to first give the incompetent chief the opportunity to assert their jurisdiction over the invaders, right? So with the Trail of Tears, this was created as the opportunity to switch the old Mississippians, what we call the nappy-head Negroes of the land, and replace them with Mongolians and pale faces, what we call $5 Indians. We stopped off in Georgia, Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, and New Orleans. This is where we was already going. But the congressional decree rendered everything that was part of Louisiana Purchase, which was west of the Appalachian Mountains and east of the Rockies, as Indian territory. So they designated it as, we know that's Indian non-treaty tribes. But they have to find the opportunity to impose upon us the jurisdiction of the invaders coming. So they started to expand beyond the Appalachian Mountains, which gave the gateway. The gateway is Atlanta, right? Because that is a capital of this land that's always been a capital of this land. We always gonna congregate in Memphis, Atlanta, Chicago, Los Angeles, or New York, right? We gonna also party hardy in the Big Easy, the NO. This is just the cultural imprint on the land by the people that have been doing the same thing for hundreds of thousands of years. Some parts of our culture they can't take from us, like Mardi Gras. They tried it, it didn't go well. Mardi Gras in Brazil is called Los Carnaval, right? In New Orleans, Mardi Gras translates from the French as Happy Tuesday, right? It's a ancestral honoring tradition of the old Mississippian clans that they call Choctaw, or Chata is the rightful name. Choctaw is the $5 Indian usurpation of the Chata tribe. That's Chief Warhorse clan. Right? She is the war chief of the Chata. Now, when we get ready to redeem the original bloodlines, what we call the walking Mississippi clay dirt Negroes, we have to inherit the fight of the land we raised in. I inherited Chief Pontiac's war with the French. Right? Angel Bay inherited Chief Blackhawk's war with the French. Right? Big Tookie inherits the Crooked Man, Chief of the West, war with the Spanish. Right now, we inheriting these to redeem the land. We have to use old blood, original man blood, first blood of the land. Not somebody that claimed they was native. And Cherokee is a catch term, just like Moore. Everybody and their mama that want to be part of the native is classified as Cherokee 90% of the time. And the question is, why is that? It's a misnomer exonym. It's a name given in the Dawes Roll to usurp two tribes. Now, if you look up the etymology of Cherokee, you're going to get two native words that don't got no similar in sound or structure to the word Cherokee. Because those are the tribes that they trying to replace with the made-up tribe called Cherokee. That's why everybody is Cherokee, right? But you don't hear everybody saying, well, I'm Mohawk, I'm Tomahawk, I'm Black Hawk, I'm Chickasaw. You don't hear everybody saying the real names. They using the catch terms. They using the catch terms because that's the makeup for the loss of identity or the assumed identity of an invader, right? So when they was doing the Dawes Roll and they was beginning to set the trail of tears, all they was doing was trading us for the servants they brought from their war with the Huns and the Mongols and the Vedics. Those were whole communities of people under the Moorish empires of Europe. Those were their servants. They had villages. And this is what they call the work pool. So when they came, they brought workers with them that was captured as prisoners of war in the establishment of the first comprehensive understanding of what we call a slave, right? Which is actually a POW in most cases. They prisoners of war that's held to do menial labor tasks because the people that they working for is still fighting wars. Somebody have to maintain the maintenance on the infrastructure. So when they came over here, because of the Conjure War in 1776, with the assassination of the Chief Crispus Attucks, and using his blood to put us in a blood oath spell and render us basically unconscious to our reality until we can break the spell of sleep, the spell of Kingu, the Kali Yuga that's artificially manufactured through conjure means, right? So you have to go back to what made them establish Georgia. They got a charter from King George to establish Georgia as a buffer zone to stop the Mississippians and the other tribes that was uniting, traversing the land west to southeast to fight the Gullah Wars. You can't stop them from coming, and so the story narrative they give us is that the slaves would escape the plantations. These were supposed to be Africans. And they went and joined forces with the Seminoles in Florida and fought against the Spanish invaders, but they never lost. Now, after you fight a war for so long, it takes on different phases. Phase 5 is where we at. It's a conjure war. It's a spiritual conflict now. It's no longer because so much blood been shed, blood has to be redeemed. And the old ways was to redeem blood with blood. So the only way to overcome that is to redeem the blood of the righteous by doing what's right and override the blood redemption for the blood redemption. They have the Christians continuously drinking of the cup of the blood of the Christ, the crucified Christ, right? And they have them constantly eating of the flesh, which is simulated cannibalism, right? And spiritually, in the spirit realm, whether it's real cannibalism or simulated, the energy signature translates the same. Okay, so now we have to set up a means to get the nappy head red man that look like this, that walk in Mississippi clay dirt, and these chocolate Africans, which is actually blackamoors from Europe that got exiled with the Spanish Inquisition. Once this happens, now we have to figure out a way to replace them with Mongols and Europeans from various Anglo tribes, Anglo-Saxons, and other non-melanated clans of Europe that was used as the servant class for the ones they call Jews. They not Jews. Right? The word Jew is nowhere in the Bible in its original language. Not until you get to the New Testament that they say, here lies the king of the Jews. Right? But jewels is how they got their name, because they was Europe's jewelers. But that was only one set of a series of royal families. They got different functions. The barristers was the bookkeepers for the lords, right? And the cat's paws was the fictitious royal family that was put out front to conceal the black nobility in the background. So now they fighting us with a cat's paw, and they got so deep in that they couldn't figure out how to close the conjure. When we realized they didn't know how to close it, this is what gave us the key advantage. The key advantage was, if they don't know how to close it, our elders know who to call to close it. So they called me to close it. Right? Now, in closing the conjure, we discover that it's not about bullets and blood. We already fought that phase of war. It's not about invasion, because we didn't already been invaded. Right? The only thing left for it to be about is the identity of self. Right? Can you remember who the hell you was before you went into amnesia? And remember when Tupac say, hotline, you niggas better find your mind. I got mine from hustling to busting and rhyme. Right? Remember when he said that? That's what he's talking about. Finding your mind is the remedy for the chapter known as misery. Discovering the self. The inner God of the self is the whole key to the whole puzzle. When you reflect in, you educate yourself, and you begin to see things. At first, you don't know what they mean, but you have to create a codex so that your higher self can translate what the lower self is seeing in the physical realm. Because we operating from lower chakra energies, specifically all those below the heart chakra. So the goal is to identify the self by being able to tap into your inner divinity, which is your mitochondrial divine feminine aspect of self. In order for you to put your divine masculine in its proper context, you must first assimilate the understanding of what divine feminine energy feel like. In a lot of cases, this is called turning on your love light. Remember 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy? He's singing his thing, Roxanne, you don't have to turn on the red light. That's what he's talking about, right? Then they got another song, Let your love shine on me. But this is what they talk about. The love light is the activation of the heart chakra that's being clogged up with black goo. You can't see it with the naked eye because it don't exist in the 3D. It only exists in the 4D. It can't even get to 5D. It's a median between the two. So when you look at the Kabbalistic tree of life, you will see a hard, dark line, and it's called the point of no pass. That's called the fear barrier. Everything that you fear is everything that you ignorant to. Information and understanding resolves the fear barrier. I was on with Black Magic last night. Somebody say, why do the enemy use fear instead of love? Because they trying to control you. They not trying to liberate you, free you. To use the love energy is to use the power and force of liberation active in the eternal fire called passion. So that's why all of the ones that wake up sound mad all the time. They sound angry. Angry black man syndrome, right? That's the anger is the passion. And when your melanin and your inner self is experiencing this at the same time, you come across as just a bitter, mean motherfucker for no reason. But you really got a reason, but because nobody else can't see it, it look like you just mad for nothing. Right? Now, if we look, you over there in the green light. Green light is the color of the love light. But the heart chakra is green. Okay, but the heart itself is red. Right? And green and red together produces brown. Right? So when you look at the keys to the colors, to the ancestor Francis Cress Welsing, you look to the keys to the color. If you white, you all right. If you black, get back. But if you brown, stick around. You dig? The browns stick around because they the ones tied to the land because they are the green and the red. They are the love and the light. Right? So they come out as brown. This is your gods and earths. Your ruler gods is the men coming out of the Sufi order of the green light, right? To activate the sisters that's coming from the daughters of Isis out of the red house, the Moorish consulate, the MGT GCC, right? The SOS. The sorority sisterhood is the reason why all of the brotherhoods is strong, because we know that if we stick together and free the sisters, we free everybody. So they tell us the power dynamic in the white man's world is the white man, the black woman, the white woman, the black man. The order of the dynamic is created based on where the assumed powers lie. Free white persons in law don't have nothing to do with a pale-faced European. Right? I meant to send you that. Because I wanted to point out some things in that. I know you got it because I sent it to you before, the free white persons in law from Black's Law Dictionary. But anyway.
Yeah, I got it, but I had to look through probably 100 files that we got.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. We ain't even go to. They can pull it up for themselves. They can go to Google, go to images, and put in free white persons in law and read what it say. But it clearly say not Anglo-Saxon, not Caucasian, right? It clearly say that. That means that these people that we thinking is the white man is not the white man. But it also tell you in free white persons in law that the free white person in law is a Moor. Right? So if the Moors look like us, how are they classified as white? So this is when you get to status correction, because the free white persons in law, that's in Europe. The whites is the nobility. Even if they the black nobility, their classification is white man. But it don't got nothing to do with skin color. This is the black hand, because it's the proverbial black hand that dangle from under the white robes of the KKK before we had pale faces overrun that shit. So now we think that the KKK is full of pale faces and that's who started it, but it came from the Black Brotherhood of Spain, right? So when we go to the maps, let's go to some of these slides, Elder.